Chamber of Commerce Football Day in San Diego, California. The Kansas City Chiefs in first place in the AFC West against the defending AFC Western champions, the Chargers of San Diego. Chargers having difficulty scoring, but they've won 9 in a row here on this turf. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Bob Trumpy. And for Kansas City, the good news is number 19.
Yeah, Joe Montana is here. He is like the crystal your mom used to bring out for special people. When he's on the table, Kansas City is an awful good team. But, you know, I have a feeling that Kansas City doesn't feel so good about playing San Diego here. Last year's playoff loss, 17-0 to the San Diego Chargers, really still a bad taste in Kansas City's mouth.
Well, in that game, Marion Butts had that 54-yard run, and Bobby Ross says if there's anything that his slumping Chargers need, it's that big play. He's looking for an early big play today.
But, you know, the bad news for the Chargers, last week against Pittsburgh, they faced the #1 rushing defense. Today against Kansas City, they faced the #2 rushing defense. So if Bobby Ross wants this San Diego Chargers to right themselves running, this is probably the bad week to try.
Well, the Chargers themselves playing good defense, and after what the Steelers did and are doing to New Orleans today, the undefeated New Orleans Saints, that loss by San Diego back at Three Rivers last Sunday isn't quite as severe. Joe Montana will have to wait as the Chargers have won the toss and will receive. Nate Lewis is deep. Lowry, the veteran. A sellout here at the Murph, they call it, Jack Murphy Stadium, and Lowry gets it underway. A tight spinner down to the 7-yard line. Lewis, Oregon Tech, breaks a tackle. Slips to the 26-yard line. Good second effort. 19 yards on the return. John Freeze KO'd against the Steelers last week and told us yesterday that it feels like he still has a hangover when he wakes up each morning. Swain, Zandowski, Courtney Hall, one familiar name, Milenchik and Brock, a rebuild offensive line. The Chargers hit with a lot of injuries there. Freeze starts for Stan Humphries. Butts the big runner. Miller their top receiver. Nate Lewis has just returned that kick. Derek Walker and Dwayne Young as they work out of the two tight ends. They like to run the ball. Ronnie Harmon and Sean Jefferson join the posse when it's second or third and long. Fred Jones, wide receiver, and that would be a costly injury for Kansas City because he fills many roles, one of those being the kick returner going the other way for Kansas City and also a backup wide receiver.
Dick, they call these guys on the coverage teams, the special teams, kamikazes, and that's what happened to Fred Jones. He got his bell rung big time there. Still woozy standing on the field.
Look for number 80, Fred Jones, coming up to make the tackle.
You see the contact by Nate Lewis. Looks to me like he's hit by his own man.
Helmet to helmet. Ran into Martin Bayless, number 30, the former San Diego Charger.
And you see Jones was already out there on the field. Well, still wobbly.
Now the Chargers have the ball first. They have won. It's been an incredible story here in San Diego. They've won their 2 home games, scoring 18 points in each. No touchdowns.
No touchdown.
John Carney, their field goal kicker, is 12 for 12 at home, accounting for all points, and yet good enough to win 2 games against Seattle and Houston. John Freeze takes over the quarterback role from Stan Humphries. Humphries was hurt in the 49er game preseason. The shoulder has not recovered fully. Marion Butts is the fullback, and Lewis in motion. And it's Butts with a flag down, and he's down as well after a short gain of a couple. That might be motion. Derek Thomas, one of those in on the side.
Offside, number 75, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. First
Jerry
down.
Markwright, the referee, and Joe Phillips, the ex-Charger, guilty.
There's Mr. Phillips. Told us last night the worst thing about losing here to San Diego last year in the playoffs was that he was here through the lean years. He leaves, they get to celebrate in San Diego, and he wasn't a part of it.
He has now made his residence in Missouri, where he and his wife both have passed the bar examination, lawyers in that state. 1st and 5 for Butts. And again, not Not much there in the middle of that Chiefs defense. Tracy Rogers plugs the hole. Number 52, the linebacker from Fresno State. And here's the front seven for KC. Smith, Phillips, Saliamua, and Thomas, with Tracy Rogers, Tracy Simeon, and Lonnie Martz, the backers. The secondary, Albert Lewis, the All-Pro at one corner. Kevin Ross has been tough through his career in Kansas City. Doug Terry and David Whitmore at safety. Whitmore leads in tackles. Carter, Bayless, and Mincy come in. Marty Schottenheimer likes to use 7 defensive backs in pass situations. Ronnie Harmon in the backfield, all kinds of early movement. And the play goes on, and Freeze throws underneath to Anthony Miller, short yardage. The action at the snap involved Derek Thomas on the near side.
Yeah, but you know, the tight end, 89 Walker, also broke out of his stance prematurely.
So 2 plays, 2 penalties. And Thomas, with his great quickness, exploding off the ball, will make those linemen and tight ends move prematurely. But the preliminary signal is against Kansas City.
Offside, number 58, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Here's Thomas, but watch the tight end Walker. Thomas, when he jumps across the line of scrimmage, I guess they're saying causes the defense. Actually, it's more like Neil Smith 90 at the top of the screen who was across. Nevertheless, the penalty.
Well, usually when you see that kind of evidence, it's against the offense.
Yes, it is.
So the Chargers, on a couple of 5-yard penalties, have a first down at their 38-yard line.
There's a rare sight. Derek Thomas is on the sideline.
Let go.
Anthony Miller wide right. Albert Lewis on him. And to give the butts. And the big man from Florida State has about 4. Tracy Simeon, the tackler.
Tackle number 54, Tracy Simeon.
This is the one thing that has been missing from San Diego's offense. That smash mouth type of offense where they give it the butt. You see Walker 89 in the backfield as a lead blocker. This has historically been the nature of the San Diego offense, but with this revamped offensive line, guys left, guys injured, they've controlled the offensive line of scrimmage very seldom.
San Diego, a sputtering offense behind that wounded offensive line. They have only 4 touchdowns all season, and Butts has the only rushing touchdown. On 2nd and 7, he picks up a couple. Neil Smith, the tackler. We mentioned Marion Butts with the big play in the playoffs last year here at Jack Murphy Stadium. 54 yards, big hole, and then runs over Charles Mincy and rumbles. And that's what Bobby Ross needs desperately now to awaken this slumbering offense.
Interesting thing about that run, too, it was against a Kansas City defense designed to stop the run.
3rd down and a long 4. Ronnie Harmon in there, pass situation. And Freeze goes down. No, it's Derek Thomas on the blind side. Thomas, the brilliant rushing linebacker who had 6.5 sacks against San Diego in the 3 games last year, gets one early today.
The secret, watch how quickly he gets off the ball. A speed rusher. Harry Swain is the offensive tackle. Swain, of course, has missed several games with injuries, missed a lot of training camp. There are very few offensive linemen who can sit quick enough to even get a good shot on Derek Thomas, let alone block him. And that's the 17th. That's the 17th sack allowed. You already said it, Dick.
John Kidd to Gil Carter. Carter, who returned one here for a touchdown last year in his debut, gets only 5 off a 56-yard punt by John Kidd. We'll see Joe Montana when we come back. Kansas City's first possession begins at the 15. Alt, Zott, Grunard, the rookies Shields and Siglar rebuilt right side of the Kansas City line. Protecting Joe Montana, and Marcus Allen will start. Only the 3rd start in 3 years for Marcus. His first with Kansas City. Harvey Williams not active today. Turf toe. Kimball Anders, a budding star. Speed on the outside with J.J. Burton and Willie Davis and Jonathan Hayes, the tight end. Give to Marcus Allen, who was raised here in San Diego and is treated rudely on his first attempt. Gary Plummer, Bert Grossman, and others. The two men acquired through free agency by Kansas City. 70 years combined age. Marcus Allen and Joe Montana start today. Defense for the Chargers, and it's a good defense. Grossman, Lee, Winter, Leslie O'Neal's had as many sacks as anyone the last year and a half. Williams from Pittsburgh, Plummer and Seau an All-Pro. Frank and Van Horst questionable at the corners. Carrington and Richard at safety. Gordon and Pope come in pass situations. Long goes Montana, and it just misses Willie Davis.
Oh, not by much. I thought that was catchable.
Sean Van Horst on the coverage, the right corner.
Dick, San Diego blitzed, one of the rare times that an Arnsparger defense will blitz, but this ball does make contact with Davis's hand. Well, he's late looking back at the ball, and that accounts for him not having his hands up there to catch it. That was awful close. That's one of the signs of Joe Montana. He's always close, never stretches out a receiver.
Montana now 3rd and 10. Crowd will be a factor. They're hungry for a big win. To the sidelines, caught by Davis, stays in bounds. And a first down at the 33-yard line. Gary Plummer finally with the tackle. 17 yards.
Donald Frank was the man in coverage. Davis with outstanding speed. This is a timing pattern. Ball thrown as Joe sets. He looks at the free safety, then to the outside. And Joe told us last night in conversation, I've never been an arm thrower. I've always thrown with my body. And you see Frank a little late in coverage, but that ball's halfway to Davis by the time Frank recognizes the ball is thrown.
Montana hasn't thrown an interception in 34 months. Of course, he was active 2 years, but he goes on top again, and that one wasn't there, so he unloads it. J.J. Burden, the closest white shirt. But Montana, of all his marks, the one that still stuns me most of all, 4 Super Bowls for Joe, 11 touchdowns, zero interceptions in the big game.
And the amazing thing that impresses me about Montana, he is the most egoless quarterback I've ever been around.
Are you saying quarterbacks have personality?
Monsters. They barely fit in Jack Murphy Stadium. Montana just wants to be one of the guys.
One player described him as shy, as we talked last night. This is Marcus. Still has enough speed to turn the corner. Out of bounds across the 35-yard line. A gain of about 5. Darren Carrington, the safety man, ran him out. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
And we also talked to Marcus last night. We said, what's the difference? And he said, here I have a definite role. Marty has told me what my role is. Now he starts today because Harvey Williams has the turf toe. But when he was with the Raiders the last couple of 3 years, he was never sure what he was going to do. Told he was a short yardage back. Marcus Allen, short yardage back? Come on.
He was short on the bench most of the time.
The thinking man.
On 3rd down. Montana, that's the typical jump off, and Marcus Allen so good on 3rd down, just laying out there in the flat, and he has the first down. The other thing, Marty Schottenheimer in the acquisition of Marcus Allen, he said it all in 2 words: consummate pro.
Yeah, and he mentioned when Marcus Allen was the big running back for the Los Angeles Raiders, the Raiders get Bo Jackson. Marcus went to the blocking back, no complaints, did his job. Marty Schottenheimer said whatever I felt about Marcus Allen before went up immeasurably afterwards.
Willing to sacrifice for the team and not complain. His only complaint in the Raider organization the last couple of years is that they didn't play him. Allen again. He played on this turf as a senior in high school, scored something like 5 touchdowns in the CIF sectional championship. He was a quarterback as well, as is his brother, who plays up in Edmonton in the CFL.
This play comes right at you. Jonathan Hayes, the tight end. He's got 29. Carrington up there, a defensive back. Hayes pushes him just enough. That's a nice 4 or 5 yard pickup.
Allen leads the Chiefs with 259 yards rushing coming in. 3 carries, 12 yards in this opening drive. Both wide receivers to the right. Ernie Thompson comes in for Kimball Anders at fullback. Tim Barnett in motion. Allen again. He wants the ball, and Montana calls his number. He's in San Diego territory at the 49. Shy of the first down by 3. Carrington and Plummer on the tackle.
Of course, these Kansas City Chiefs, when they want to make the point to everyone, and they certainly made it to us last night, did Marty Schottenheimer. He hired Paul Hackett first as the offensive coordinator. He was going to change the offense from the big blunderbuss with Barry Word and Christian Okoye. Then they acquired Joe Montana to hurry the transition. There is Paul Hackett. So,
former University of Pittsburgh head coach. 3rd and 3. Andrews, the fullback, into the pattern. Over the middle, almost intercepted by Donald Pratt. So Montana and the Chiefs offense move into San Diego territory, but will have to punt, and the fans love the defense.
watch how quickly Joe Montana looks around the field. Not open right, knows where that outlet receiver is. It looked like O'Neal, 91, got his hand up, tipped the ball. Frank couldn't quite make the interception.
The Chargers' #1 draft pick, that's Darian Gordon at the other end of this punt situation. Gordon, 22nd picked in the draft. He had trouble catching the ball cleanly early this year, but he's back in that role. High floater, fair catch. Gordon at the 11, and almost interference there by Fred Jones, the man who was injured on the opening kickoff. No flag, 38-yard punt, timeout. 7:21 remains scoreless first quarter. What a day. You saw the beautiful Del Coronado Hotel off the Pacific Ocean, one of the great hotels in the world. Boss Ross has sent his offense in, and without the huddle freeze, will put him to work at the 11-yard line. No score, midpoint, first quarter. Marion Butler, the lone running back, double tight end. Freeze off play action deep in his own end, and he goes long. Miller, he might go all the way. There's the big play. Touchdown, San Diego. A flag on the play. And Neil Smith says holding San Diego. We'll see if the referee. Yep, Jerry Markbright says come on back.
Is there an uglier signal from a referee?
89-yard perfect throw by John Freeze to the streaking Anthony Miller for naught.
Holding number 72, offense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Harry Swain, a budding star at left tackle, or so the Chargers thought after his play last year, but held out, got a big contract.
He's way up here. Swain is where the holding is going to take place. See if we can pick it out. Who is he? Oh, yeah, he just grabs Neil Smith and pulls him to the ground.
That's why Smith was the man back at the other end, not even looking at the touchdown.
Here's Smith right here. Watch him put his arm around him. Right there, and just tackle him.
No question. Freeze from his own end zone. And it is complete.
No.
Johnny Barnes, no, he said he didn't get both feet in. Well, that's a bit of carelessness by Barnes because he had time to drag the other foot, but just kind of casually ran with it out of bounds.
And you know, coaches, that drives coaches crazy because offensive coaches spend hours every week making sure the receivers get that second foot down. Now he's accelerating here. All he has to do is dot the I when he gets to the sideline. He pays no attention to it. Just make an attempt, and the official a lot of times will give you the reception.
But it was a little tougher than it first appeared.
Yes,
he was stretching.
Yes.
So a missed touchdown on a penalty and a missed completion, and now it's Butts breaking through the secondary and powering to the 18-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and 3. 12 yards for the 248-pound Pro Bowler a couple of times, 90 and 91.
Nice draw action by San Diego. When you've got a good pass rush that you're facing, and Kansas City certainly qualifies. Screens, which Pittsburgh ran last week against San Diego, and draws are excellent calls.
Ronnie Harmon is way up the top of your picture. Eric Bieniemy gets the call, and the little running back from Colorado is smothered. Neil Smith, number 90, first in. Tracy Rogers cleaned it up.
Well, boy, that series may be a little capsule form of the San Diego Chargers season. They get the big play, called back by penalty. Wow.
And now John Kidd, who has been suffering from a bad back. In fact, Ken Sullivan has been kicking the last couple of weeks and was released earlier this week. Kidd, his last punt was the best of the year for him, 56 yards. Dale Carter, a dangerous return man at the other end, and this is returnable, a line drive. And it takes a bounce. It was too short for Carter to field it, and it rolls dead at the 35 of Kansas City. Flags are down as two players duke it out. Darian Gordon, the rookie, number 21 for San Diego. And we'll see against whom it is called. Still trying to spot the number for Kansas City. Looked to be Jay Taylor. Yes, 27. It'll be a post possession. It will not affect possession of the ball. Kansas City will retain it. It'll be a matter of whether it'll be marked off back from the 35 or forward from the 35. 48 yards on the punt. Mr. Mark Bright.
We have offsetting personal fouls after the ball became dead. First down, timeout.
And a timeout comes with 5:37 remaining in the first quarter. In his fifth year, 50-year-old Marty Schottenheimer. Asked him about how good this team is last night. He said, if you can tell me that Joe Montana will be healthy the rest of the way, we're a Super Bowl team.
It's unusual for Marty Schottenheimer to be that bold with a prediction, too.
The difference between Montana's 3 starts and Dave Craig's 2, rather apparent. Yards per attempt, completion percentage, and most importantly, touchdowns. Montana, as one of the Chargers defenders said, is magic.
Yes.
He looked through 3 different potential receivers and finds Willie Davis out of bounds at the 16 to 17-yard line. Darren Carrington covering for the Chargers, a 47-yard play.
And Dick, that is the gift that Joe Montana has. You said it right. He looked at 3 different receivers, still keeps his feet underneath him, squared and ready to throw, and throws a strike to Willie Davis down the sideline. There are very few quarterbacks who have ever played the game who have the vision of the field like Joe Montana. Of course, the other advantage he has, this is the only offense he's ever known in the NFL.
Kansas City in striking distance, and it's Marcus Allen for a couple. Leslie O'Neal and Junior Seau collaborate on the stop.
In talking to Marty Schottenheimer last night, he said, I had to learn this offense. And he said it's not easy, but you can see Joe Montana go through this offense. He has looked at the same reads his entire career since he came out of Notre Dame, taught first by Bill Walsh and now by Paul Hackett. He knows it like nobody in the game.
Tim Barnett in motion, and then the throw to Allen, not quite there. So they worked on picking Junior Seau.
Barnett fell down. And so far, no signs of favoring his hamstring.
He told us yesterday that it hurt most when he tried to move straight forward.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm not going to try many quarterback draws today.
He said, I never was much of a runner. I was here this morning at 9 o'clock. So was Joe Montana. 2 reasons. Get treatment. Secondly, he can't stand to sit in a hotel the day of the game. He'd rather go to the locker room.
Lovely wife Jennifer and son Nathaniel are here cheering him on today on 3rd down and 8. First time he's had to scramble.
Allen.
Touchdown, Marcus Allen, the veterans. Montana to Marcus. 102nd touchdown in his great career for Allen.
Well, you got to give this one to the combination of the 2 veterans. This is designed to go down the middle, Allen runs a beautiful pattern. If play is busted, he makes himself a receiver for the quarterback. Junior Seau, 55, closest man in coverage. That's just experience.
He said that rolling out, it doesn't bother me, the hamstring, and there is case in point. And he finds the open man, and that touchdown moves him ahead of Steve Largent on the all-time list. It's 7-0 Kansas City.
You see the scramble inside 91. O'Neal still looking downfield, squares his shoulders. Allen, the receiver, 6 points, and another chapter in the Joe Montana saga.
When the Chiefs got Montana and Marcus, they got 5 Super Bowl rings, 4 Super Bowl MVPs, 3 NFL MVPs, a Heisman winner, and 70 years of experience.
And what these two guys bring to the team is probably more important off the field than on the field.
Nick Lowry, who added the extra point, now sends one toward Nate Lewis, and Lewis will take the touchback at the 20, and that'll give us a chance to go back to the key play in that 4-play drive, the 47-yard pass to Willie Davis.
But you can see the short drop by Montana on the long reception. He's looking right. 1, 2, 3, basically one step, not open. He knows this offense so well. He comes back down here. And you can see the hamstring is not bothering him. The elbow surgery is certainly not bothering him. And this is perfect. Laces up, outside foot. Davis catches it. And here's the touchdown. Now, Marcus Allen is not loping. He is the backside of the formation, not even intended to be a primary receiver. Joe finds him.
Natron Means, the rookie from North Carolina, number 20. Ooh, he was one tackle away from something special. Tracy Simeon spoiled it with an ankle stop. And Marcus Allen, and he told us yesterday of all his records, and he's a modest guy. He didn't want to talk about his records, but he said touchdowns are important. He said, I really thought I had a chance at Jim Brown, a good friend of his. He has 102 now, passing Steve Largent, but 2 years of inactivity with the Raiders the last couple of years. If his normal seasons, he'd have had 6, 7.
Sure,
he'd be going for it.
Absolutely. That's a list of Hall of Famers, I might add, up there.
Indeed. Second down for Freeze, and Means almost didn't get the handoff. He did get 3 Kansas City white shirts in his face, a gain of maybe a yard. Albert Lewis, one of those. Means is butt size, a little shorter, 5'10", 245. He's the youngest running back in the NFL. He's 7 weeks younger than the Vikings' Robert Smith, who played at Ohio State.
And he, frankly, is the healthiest of all the San Diego running backs. He's got a little sprained ankle, but Butts has been bothered throughout training camp in the early part of the season. That's why Means is playing a lot. Harmon now in. He's the pass receiver.
Chargers still looking for a first down. And a flag down. And there is Lewis for the first down. They do have a first down by penalty, but they have not, by their own offensive encouragement, produced a 10-yard first down until now. And now let's check the penalty and see if it counts. Nope. So Bobby Ross, nothing gone right yet. Trailing 7-0. He's had an 89-yard touchdown play nullified.
Illegal formation foul, number 67. Not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Have to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
Well, the old veteran Stan Brock is trying to cheat a little bit just to buy himself some space between him and Derek Thomas. That's a big key in pass protection at all times. And you see those offensive linemen turn their shoulders, get as far away from that defender as they possibly can.
Chargers now. Again, first down nullified by penalty. Now underneath he goes to the tight end, Derek Walker, and Walker will be stopped about 2 yards shy. David Whitmore, he came with Montana from the 49ers in that trade for KC's number 1. Makes the stop, and so it goes for San Diego. They continue to struggle on offense.
Penalties again.
So John Kegg, a third punt in this opening quarter with 2 minutes to go. Dale Carter, as a rookie, 2 touchdowns returning kicks, and one of those the first time he ever touched the ball in the big leagues in an NFL regular season game. Took it back here on this grass.
Whoa, look at this one.
What a kick by Kidd.
Goodness.
John isn't kidding.
I got that at what, 77, 78 yards? Wait a minute. 69 yards. Woo!
A career long for John Kidd, whose longest prior to that kick was 67. But Montana, as soon as it gets more throws, will be back up there number one.
You know, your greatest ability is fitting everything together here.
Yeah. When it comes to gas, I am really a pro. Montana from inside is 5. Oh, is Marcus Allen drilled? Sean Lee, Grizzly Lee, middle name Swoboda, after the Mets outfielder.
Told us yesterday that if he went back to the campus of Northern Alabama where he went to school, they wouldn't know his name is Sean. Everybody called him Little Grizzly or Grizz.
And Junior Seau, not Little, was underneath on that stop as well. So a loss back to the 2. Crowd trying to help the Charger defense. Montana off play action. Almost intercepted. Donald Frank has come close twice today. J.J. Burden, the intended target for Montana.
And Dick Burden stopped his pattern. He was running the quick slant, and he stopped his pattern. That's the cardinal sin of a receiver. Watch what Burden does here. See, you can't do that. Once you get through that break, you got to keep going because the quarterback is reading that break.
Good point. Absolute. Great evidence there why Montana was being a little vocal.
Absolutely.
Joe now 4 for 9, 83 yards and a touchdown. And throws again from his own end zone to Willie Davis. Not enough for a first down. 5 yards out of bounds at the 8. And the punting team comes on, and this crowd trying to inspire San Diego to do something. The only game at this point sold out for the Chargers, and understandably it's not only the rivalry with Kansas City, but of course to see Super Joe. Brian Barker, Santa Clara, averaging 43 yards a punt this year. Darian Gordon at midfield, and flags go down. Jury Mark Bright, and considerable discussion here in San Diego.
Ball start, number 53, offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Santo Stevens moving before the snap. Doesn't cost Kansas City much. Half the distance back to the 3.5, but it does squeeze Barker a bit. He doesn't have the full 15-yard complement from center. 10 men on the line of scrimmage. They have the return on. It's a good driving kick. Gordon back to his 47. And to the 48 of Kansas City, a 49-yard punt, 6-yard return. Benny Thompson, one of the top special teams players in the NFL, makes the stop.
Illegal hands to the face on number 34, kicking team, before the ball was possessed. Half the distance to the ball, still first, 4th down. 4th down.
This will be just a 2-yard penalty from the 4 to the 2, but Dale Carter was the man guilty, but it gives San Diego a chance in a squeeze field now with the pressure on Barker to get a big return.
It also makes Kansas City cover another punt. You tend to make mistakes when you run 40 yards, penalty, 40 yards.
Well, even that last one, it appeared Gordon had a lot more room had he taken it and run straight ahead, but he danced east and west and didn't get much.
They are running out of real estate. That's Kurt Schottenheimer, the special teams coach. And it's unusual that you find somebody on the punting team with illegal hands to the face.
7 seconds left in this opening quarter. Montana to Marcus, a touchdown, 7-0. It's only about 10 yards back of the center for Barker, and he isn't even using that.
Looks like they're going after it.
And this kick not quite as good, and Gordon's going to let it bounce. Oh, my. And it's down at the 36-yard line. Well, perhaps his early season troubles in fielding the ball cleanly decided best to be conservative. End of one. Kansas City in the lead. He said even yesterday morning when he awakened until he took a shower, he felt a little lightheaded. Best position of the game for San Diego at the 36, and Freeze underneath, wide open, the tight end Dwayne Young, and brought down at the 31 by Dan Saliamua. Another Saliamua back home as well. He's from National City, just south of San Diego.
Dan Saliamua had dropped in coverage. He was 10 yards deep.
They use that ploy on occasion. We've seen Saliamua even get an interception.
Yeah, but you don't find many 300. Watch Saliamua right in the middle. He drops back. And very agile, but at 300 pounds, this is what he does best. Hammer people after they catch it.
2nd and 5, and Natron Means gets a couple to the 29-yard line, and San Diego's best offensive medicine is running the ball. That's what Bobby Ross's club did well last year. 0-4 start, and then lost only one other game until the playoffs, and that defeated Miami. But they just haven't been able to move it this year, and the answer is one. The passing game not as threatening, but more importantly has been offensive line.
Yeah, injuries. He did tell us too that this week they went back to the 6-on-6 drill. The offensive line and the tight ends against the defensive line and linebackers, and they're trying to fire off the ball more as a group.
They had 20 carries, 19 yards last week against Pittsburgh. That's Means battling for a first down to the 25-yard line. Kevin Ross made the tackle, and Nate Means had to do a little extra work to plow free from a couple of tacklers. That's the first offensive first down for San Diego in this half.
And Dick, this is a very difficult defense to gain yards up around the guards and center. With Saliamua, the inside backers, with Simeon, that's a heavyweight defensive line up there at linebackers.
Means stays in. The H-back Walker in motion. Means outside. 20, 15, and inside the 10. A flag is down. Oh, this is going to provoke a collective groan from the San Diego fans.
Well, you're going to see if we get the replay how quickly the running back gains the corner, and you're going to quickly find out why.
Holding number 87, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Dwayne Young.
I believe he's on 51, Lonnie Martz. Watch right up here. Now that's called a hook block, but he just grabs him by the shirt, gets both linebackers. And generally when you see the corner captured so quickly by a running back, you got to think it's holding, because those linebackers nowadays play so wide, it's the only way the tight ends can make the block.
Yeah, that wasn't even subtle.
No.
So they've lost an 89-yard touchdown, and now that 17-yard gain negated by penalty. First down and 20. Freeze under pressure, and down he goes. Neil Smith uses his little celebrative swing, baseball swing, as Freeze goes down.
Yeah, on offenses too, Dick, you can slide your line one way or the other to help a particular offensive tackle on a pass rush. But when you've got Derek Thomas on one side, Neil Smith on the other side, somebody is going to be on an island somewhere. That is man-to-man on either Thomas or Smith. And that time Smith, with very little problem, got right to the quarterback.
Each of those stars, Smith and Thomas, with a sack today. -7 on that play, so second down 27 for Freeze. And here comes Thomas. And And a throw underneath complete to Nate Lewis. Lewis with 15 catches on the year. He'll be celebrating birthday in a couple of days. Tuesday he'll be 27.
Doug Terry was the tackler there. Used to wear number 32. And when Marcus Allen showed up, Doug Terry volunteered 32. Now 25.
And free agent out of Kansas, and a big surprise and a pleasant one, we might add, for Kansas City last year. And Marcus said, I'll give him something. I'll make it worth his spirit. And Freese has to call a time. It comes with 11:24 left in this first half, and the Chargers facing third down 18 and down by 7. Back in beautiful San Diego, 7-0 Kansas City. A long 18 yards for Freese on third down at the 33 of Kansas City. Good protection this time. And now open. Great coverage by the Kansas City defense, and a flag very late goes down. Neil Smith involved with Joe Milenchik, the offensive guard of San Diego.
A penalty flag on the field.
Now, if that's against San Diego, it'll take them out of field goal range. Might be negating penalties. It looked like they were kind of rubbing each other.
Neil Smith kind of threw an offensive lineman. I looked like it was Brock.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit after the play, number 90, defense. A continuing action foul, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Wow, what a penalty on 3rd and 18. Would have been 4th and 18. A first down.
It's going to take place right up here. See Neil Smith? Why he was shoving when the play is already over is beyond me. You want emotion out of your players, but Neil Smith has been around the league long enough that he doesn't have to establish a reputation. Everybody knows how good he is.
San Diego gratefully accepts that first down, a gift at the 18, trailing 7-0, second quarter. Nate Means inside the 15-yard line. He had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons rushing for the Tar Heels, and was Bobby Beathard's pick in the second round this year. As Courtney Hall, who blocked for him on that run, said, he's not as powerful as Butts, but he has more wiggle.
More wiggle.
At 245.
Guys that size, though, if you've got a wiggle in that size, it's lethal.
Another timeout. 11:04 left in the half. Classic day in San Diego, out on the ocean. That's where Stanley Richard, the safety man for the Chargers, likes to jet ski. Kevin Ross was injured, but apparently not seriously. Appeared to be an ankle. This is second down for Freese. Out of the backfield to Means. Good catch by the big guy. There's a little wiggle. And some power to the 10-yard line. Shy of the first down. Darren Nickel, second-year lineman from Florida, made the tackle. And we hear from the Kansas City sidelines that it was an ankle, Kevin Ross, and is expected to return.
The only thing about
He's back in now.
Excuse me. The only thing about that reception is, as Joe Montana throws that little swing pass out to the fullback, it's invariably in stride, so that the receiver builds momentum to the line of scrimmage, as opposed to Means had to stop for that one.
Third down 2. Up inside goes Means, and he burrows his way to what appears to be a first down. Yes, first and goal, San Diego, 7 yards away from tying the game.
Should be coming right at you. What San Diego's doing here is using 3 tight ends. Here's one, and they've got one out here, and this formation is working. It's causing some problems for Kansas City, spreading out their defense.
Appeared to be early movement, but Means still on his feet. Touchdown! Natron Means' first professional score. that is the first touchdown scored by San Diego at home this year, although they've not lost at home, because this man 6 for 6, 18 points to beat Seattle 18-12, 6 for 6 to beat Houston 18-17.
I'm sure Carney's willing to share the duty with Mr. Means.
Yes, indeed. The try for point, and this game is even at 7.
Now this is what San Diego wants to do. Smash mouth football. No wiggle there by Means. Just power over the last 2 yards, and he scored. Wow.
Well, the Lightning Bolts getting a charge out of their youngest running back in the NFL. Natron Means, neutron, nitrate. You have all kinds of flags and banners out here for Mr. Means, who showed not only power but what desire for his first NFL touchdown. And on the play there was a face mask penalty and 15 yards marked off, so Carney will kick off from the 50. This isn't a bad time to try an onside kick.
Actually, I've often wondered why in situations like this you wouldn't punt the ball. There's no rule against it. You can punt the ball, but they choose to kick it off.
Fred Jones recovering from a little head collision on the opening kickoff is okay. He's the deep man for KC. He spins it high and short toward the corner, and my goodness, out of bounds at the 1-yard line, and Kansas City will get it out at the 35-yard line. Oh my. They start from the 20-yard line because of the 15-yard penalty. It's imposed, nevertheless, that otherwise you don't really penalize for the face mask. And Kimball Landers' first catch. He's shown that he can catch the ball. He has 14 coming in.
Interesting guy. Could be a big key as long as Joe Montana is there. Came out of the run and shoot offense at University of Houston, and they use Kimball Landers in that super back set either as a blocker, a screen catcher, a draw runner, or a receiver. This guy could turn out to be a big factor for Joe Montana and the Chiefs.
7 yards on that first down play. Gary Plummer high, and underneath was Leslie O'Neal.
The one thing you can say about the Chargers, even though with their record and their problems, since Bill Arnsparger got here, this defense has one of the greatest reputations in the league, and it's well deserved. Arnsparger is not a fancy defensive kind of guy. It's a repeat the same thing over and over kind of guy.
Montana dumps it off to Marcus Allen. Eyes in the back of his head. He's still not out of bounds. They finally cover him at the 35. First down. Remarkable ability to know where everyone is on the field.
And of course, the offense that he learned under Bill Walsh has this theory built into it. You make the defense defend every play. Now watch him look directly downfield. Looks like Jonathan Hayes, the tight end, is the primary. He knows where the outlet is. Where he throws it, it's only about a 2-yard gain right there. Marcus turns it into a 5-yard gain, but you've made the defense defend that play.
Yeah, the defensive backs of the Chargers saying it's so tough to read where he's going. He breaks all the rules. Here comes the reverse, and Fred Jones. Oh, he's straightened by Stanley Richard, the sheriff, but not until Jones has 9 yards.
I saw Joe Montana throw a block there on a defensive lineman too.
What's wrong with Montana?
At $4 million a year, watch what he does. Who is it he hits?
Don't you know you're 37, Joe? You
Bert
had all those injuries?
Grossman. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. You don't teach it that way, but it's certainly functional.
Functional Joe Montana at the helm.
Yes.
(7-7), 6:45 remaining first half. They don't get it off. Montana doesn't beat the clock. The layup game will bring up 2nd and 6. Well, Montana, as is with all quarterbacks, all players in this game that stay as long as he has, share of injuries. 84, the first one took him out, was a bruised sternum. Lost a game in 85 with the 49ers, and then the next year that ruptured disc that required surgery, lost half a season. 87, it was the right hand and the left hamstring. Missed 2 games. 88, missed 2 more with a back injury. 89, it was the right elbow and the left knee. Lower abdominal strain, 1 game out in 90, and then tendonitis in the right elbow, really serious. Required surgery, missed almost 2 full seasons, and then this year has missed 2 games more. It's Todd McNair getting a rare chance, and he stopped short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 3. This year a right wrist, and then the hamstring against the Raiders. A total for Montana of 50 games missed in his 15 years. And he's still out there throwing blocks with that willowy. Is he 205 pounds?
No. If he's 175 right now, I'd be surprised. Not a big guy.
He was talking about his hamstring, and not any bigger than mine. And that's wimpy. On 3rd and short. Finds a man. Hassan Jones, the veteran former Viking from Florida State, working his way over the middle, 22 yards. Montana will find you.
Remember when we talked to Marcus Allen last night? We asked him about Joe in the huddle. He said he's cool, he's calm, he never gets excited. He carries that presence back in that quarterback spot. Yes, the primary receiver is not open. The secondary receiver is not open. I know where the third guy is. Bam, I get it to him. We pick up the first down.
And as you pointed out so accurately before, Bob, when he throws it to you, it's on the dead run. No break of stride. You're leading you upfield.
On the money.
Anders, little cross direction, and he stays in bounds for a good first down gain of about 7.
Back when Ben Schwartzwalder coached at Syracuse.
Where is go Buckaroos?
They used to call that the scissors play.
I was trying not to say that.
The
Cross
scissors
buck.
The cross buck. The scissors play.
Well, John Ferratis, our producer, who helped design that with Coach Schwartzwalder when he was a student there at Syracuse. I think Bob Costas, when he was there at Syracuse, kind of refined it.
Yes. He was at least a part of the scissors play.
2nd down and 3. Montana hit and still completes the pass. J.J. Burden's first catch and a first down at the 25 of San Diego, and Montana's okay.
That's the first time there's really been somebody on Joe Montana. It's Leslie O'Neal. He's working on John Alt. O'Neal, one of the game's great pass rushers. He shows him no mercy there, but at the end of that play, you saw the offensive lineman of Kansas City pick him up off the ground. Joe stays in there, able to complete the pass.
O'Neal doesn't get the publicity of Derek Thomas and Lawrence Taylor and the other great pass rushers, but he's right there with the best of them the last year and a half. First down, 7 all. Whoa! Leslie O'Neal invading the backfield, and what a hit. We'll hear this full speed with audio. It says it all. Loss of a yard. O'Neal, when you look at the last year and a half, O'Neal has 21 sacks. No one better. Clyde Simmons, Anthony Smith, the Eagle and the Raider. Neil Smith, 19 and a half. O'Neal's there with the elite. Montana goes down. He first choice, second choice covered. Didn't have time for number 3. O'Neal and Mims got him.
And I have a feeling if his hamstring is healthy, he tries to run. But he sat down there to save himself for the rest of the game. You're right, Dick, when he told us last night, I can't run straight ahead. He wanted to take no chances.
So the sack for O'Neal and Mims. We'll see how they share it or whether it goes to just one.
Watch at the end of this play. He's not open. He's not open. He starts to go upfield. No. I'm saving myself. I'm going to play the rest of this game. I'm not pulling my hamstring here.
Timeout call. 2:43 left in the half. Kansas City in field goal range. And we welcome you back, Bob Trumpy. The 66 times they played these two teams going back to the AFL. One win separates them.
It's amazing. And of course, that's when back when they first started, we weren't sure they could pay everybody.
Third down for Montana down the middle. Intercepted. Darren Carrington saves it for San Diego.
I wonder if he'll keep that football.
His second interception this year. His first against Montana and the first interception against Montana in 3 years. Got to go all the way back to 1990 against the Vikings.
That's a rare mistake by Joe Montana, and he's watching the big diamond vision screen to see what the coverage was. He looks outside. He's wondering where Carrington came. Barnett was the intended receiver. You don't see Joe Montana make mistakes like that very often.
So that denied Kansas City on a third down play a chance for a field goal in the lead. And San Diego takes over inside the 5.
Yes,
well, actually, they give it on the 6-yard line.
Nick, I was going to say, talking to Schottenheimer, that I didn't identify that defense. He'll put it right on himself.
Freeze to Butts. And Marion Butts, perhaps inspired by watching Natron Means work on the last possession, bulls his way to a first down. David Whitmore gets him to the turf.
This offensive line of San Diego beginning to do a pretty good job of pushing and shoving. And again, they've got the tight end in the backfield, 89, who's a lead blocker there. San Diego's found this formation. It's working pretty good. They got 3 tight ends on the field.
Butts averaging over 6 a carry today.
Here's 87, Means, and then Walker is in the backfield.
Butts using some speed outside. And he fights close to another first down at the 25-yard line. Albert Lewis gets him. The 2-minute timeout comes at the 1:55 mark.
Something happened there somewhere. Someone didn't run the right pattern to get that safety pulled out.
Second down 3. Whoops. Thomas was across the line of scrimmage. A free play for John Freeze. He goes to Means. And the rookie has a first down at the 32 and stops the clock with 1:50 to go. Well, the rushing game has now perhaps opened it up for the passing lanes for Freeze. Last week, 20 rushes, 19 yards against the Steelers rushing for the San Diego club. Today, they've got 64 yards rushing in this first half, and their touchdown on a 7-yard run by Means. Here, the Derek Thomas too quick off the line of scrimmage.
Offside, number 58, defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Freeze. Underneath to Anthony Miller at the 43. And Freeze moving this club, little pieces and chunks. Kevin Ross makes the stop. Almost 10 yards on that play. And timeout called by San Diego. If you're just joining us, Bobby Ross, the San Diego coach, or just wearing that deepening furrow on his brow after he saw an 89-yard touchdown nullified early in the game, a Freeze to Miller pass, and then a Joe Montana to Marcus Allen 15-yard touchdown that gave the Chiefs a 7-0 lead. But a 36-yard drive in 9 plays capped by Natron Means 7-yard plunge made it 7-all. And after the Carrington interception of a Montana pass at the Charger 6-yard line, it's Freeze going to work with 1:42 to go in the half, and he throws this one away, and Bayless intercepts. He didn't throw it far enough to the sidelines, and Bayless down at the 46-yard line. Oh my! That wasn't near any receiver. I do believe he was just trying to throw it away, and Bayless picks it off.
Good play action fake here. Slows down 58 Thomas. Well, you're right. He's just trying to heave it out of bounds, and Bayless makes a heck of a grab. And mom and dad on the sideline. And watches the ball is intercepted.
Is there anything more agonizing than trying to live through your son's athletic exploits or anything, music, you name it?
Well, now advantage turns distinctly to Kansas City here.
You bet, with 1:34 to go, and Montana also has 2 timeouts. This is where he's used his pass, but not when they have the pass rush. O'Neal gets this one. Chris Mims was awarded the last. It's the 4th of the season for the 3-time Pro Bowler out of Oklahoma State, where he played with Thurman Thomas.
And they go right back to the line of scrimmage, running the 2-minute drill here.
2nd and 17. Coming back to meet Montana's pass was J.J. Burton. He's developed into a fine receiver. He was an 8th-round pick at Cleveland when Schottenheimer was the coach there. He was a free agent released by the Browns, and Marty remembered him, picked him off in 1990, and now with Montana, they're talking about the speed of Burton and Davis, 2 trackmen, and with Montana skills, Rice and Taylor.
Yeah, but Joe even admitted these receivers faster than J.R. and J.T. And of course, J.J. Burton is a young man who he plays John Taylor in this offense. And in the offseason, he's a track coach here at the local high school, or Kansas City. And they keep himself interested and get the kids interested in track.
Yeah, coaching hurdling. He was a fine hurdler and the Pacific 10 long jump champion at Oregon. There's a timeout because of a difficulty with the chain across the way. It is now 3rd down, 2 at the 46 of San Diego. Kansas City with a chance to break the tie before half. Underneath, Montana wide open, tight end. It's Keith Cash, and he plows to the 27-yard line. Cash, the best of the 3 tight ends as a receiver, and of course when you go back to San Francisco and you talk about that offense, the tight end so important.
Yes.
And basically Jonathan Hayes has always been the blocker, catch some now and then. Cash fits the role of receiver at tight end, best of the 3 the Chiefs have.
And of course his brother is the tight end for Indianapolis.
Kerry Cash.
There's no question that Joe Montana will keep that tight end busy, whoever he eventually might be.
How would you like to have been a tight end with Montana in this system?
Oh, it's just gravy. You know, you can see so many opportunities to get open running through zones and stuff because of the pressure that's put on the outside of the offense. And Joe, anything strong side, the outset receiver is the tight end. Anything weak side, the outlet receiver is the tight end. You get it from both sides of the ball.
And take it another step, Marcus Allen said yesterday when Roger Craig joined the Raiders from San Francisco, he said, I've been envying you all these years playing in that offense, never knowing that he would wind up in a new city with a new offense and with a quarterback Montana. 8th first down for Kansas City in this half, all by the pass. 11 for 17, Montana.
Even Montana needs some balance, the ability to run the ball.
107 for Montana and eternity. Into the flat, and Anders can't hold on, but a flag is down. Gerald Williams, 57 on the coverage. Did Williams grab something he shouldn't have?
They've got some choices here, I believe.
Pass interference, number 57, defense. Automatic count.
Gerald Williams, unrestricted free agent from Pittsburgh.
He was mentioning to us that he was always on the field at Pittsburgh. Now he can't get on the field. Well, if he keeps doing this, yeah, that's an easy call. No question about it. He's got to get his head around and watch the quarterback throw it.
Quickly out of the huddle and almost caught San Diego, not ready defensively. Montana throws this one away. Out of bounds was Willie Davis, even had he caught it.
But did you see what Joe Montana did there? Just a little motion to Davis. He was not the primary receiver, but Davis came back to help Joe Montana. Give him a receiver to throw to. Joe said, thanks, I appreciate that. You're out of bounds, but thanks. He'll pay him back.
That when he first came to Kansas City and walked through the workout room, just they described him as shy, unassuming. He kind of waved the players and they gave the victory sign, and
that was it.
Unassuming. 56 seconds left in the half. Montana with pressure. Almost intercepted by Carrington again. And Montana might have been injured on that one. Gerald Williams was the man pressuring. And Leslie O'Neal.
Slow to get up.
O'Neal there to see if Joe's okay.
They ran the stunt. Gerald Williams and Plummer, 50 and 57, both blitzed. And let's be honest, at Joe's age, he can't take the hits anymore that he could take. He's up and around, but there's a San Diego Charger on the ground.
That's O'Neal.
No,
No,
that's
Gerald Williams.
yeah.
Sorry, Gerald Williams. Slow getting up.
But Montana can't take the hits like he used to. You know, and this offensive line of Kansas City knows that. There's Gerald Williams, 57 coming in. Plummer is also there. Up by the head. And then Grossman seems to hit both of them, 92, both Williams and Joe Montana. I'm sure there's a big every time Joe Montana hits the ground back in Kansas City.
Chiefs have one timeout left. But it still seems strange to look down at Joe Montana and see 19 on the front of his jersey. When was the last time he said he wore 19?
The Monongahela Little Wildcats.
Little Wildcats in Little League.
In 1968. You know, I talked to Len Dawson about his number 16. I said, would you have given it to Montana if he asked for it? And he said, no, it's retired.
Good. That's why they do that.
He said, I didn't retire it. Lamar did.
On third down, underneath to Anders. Good open field tackle by Steve Hendrickson playing in that pass defense. Rocket Head.
Named by his good buddy Joe Phillips, now a defensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs. And Rocket Head qualifies. I've never come across anybody more aptly named.
Said there's a fine line between genius and being crazy. Nick Lowry, third all time. And this one will be 37 yards to give Kansas City the lead.
Watch what Lowry does just before he kicks. He has this. Now, kickers are weird. We know that. But he has this little routine, I think, that helps him. And part of it is handling the face mask. You know, like it's the final thing is they're going to let the clock expire. Another 5 yards doesn't make any difference to Nick.
No, they call timeout. That doesn't cost them the 5 yards. They just let it run down and not give San Diego any chance should there be a kickoff return.
And this guy, see what he does with the face mask there? You know, in baseball, hitters have routines, pitchers have routines, golfers have routines, tennis players have routines. Nick has established a routine, something that gets him in the mood. I don't know about the hands to the nose, but the face mask, every time he goes out there to kick, he adjusts that face mask, and then he's ready.
Well, I admire, if not envy, all the great athletes we watch. But what I really envy most about Lowry is his next door neighbor was Byron Whistler White, the now retired Supreme Court Justice and a great All-America football player at Colorado. Broke the Japanese code in World War II. Led the NFL in rushing as a rookie running back with the Lions, who were a last-place team. I want to meet Whistler White, and he was in the same neighborhood, and he has governmental ambitions. And there's the fidgeting and all the probably doesn't even know he does it.
No, and see, his face is crooked in that helmet, but watch the face mask. He's already adjusted it. He's ready.
37 yards, and Kansas City has the lead. The Chiefs for 33 years have had two place kickers, Jan Stenerud, Nick Lowry, two great ones. The Chiefs with a 10-7 lead at the intermission, led by Joe Montana. And from beautiful San Diego, let's go to NFL Live in New York and Jim Lampley.
You said that the Chargers would have to run the ball. They're doing a little better, but the Chiefs still have the lead.
Well, the Chiefs have Montana. I think that's the only reason they have the lead right now. And they're putting a lot of pressure on him. They've got to him about 4 times or 2 times in the last quarter. And it's being tough because the Chiefs have no running game right now at all, Jim. They're just throwing the ball. Every first down is bypass.
Nick Lowry's 37-yard field goal broke the tie, 10-7. And this is the haberdasher to the stars. And look at those hearts, Mike. I wore this for you. But, you know, I love Iron Mike.
Iron Mike, yeah.
He's my guy, and I have nothing against the sweater, but
don't get me in the middle of this. You know how to get a hold of Mike.
It just confuses the color system in my home TV. Underway in the second half. Enough of the nonsense, and here we go. Kansas City and San Diego. The Chiefs off to their best start since their 1971 season, and the Chargers trying to win their 10th in a row at home. And the Coors Silver Bullet halftime statistics, and you look total yards, 88 for San Diego, 89 nullified touchdown early in the game. They wound up with just 88.
That was to Nate Lewis. Here's the key factor, I think, for Kansas City. Just 32 yards rushing, no rushing first downs in the first half, and at the end of the first half, you begin to see San Diego a lack of respect for the running game and really coming after Joe Montana.
San Diego playing minus a starting linebacker as Montana off play action goes to his tight end Jonathan Hayes, and he's got 6 yards to the 26. Darren Carrington with a tackle. Gerald Williams, when he sacked Montana late in the first half, dislocated shoulder, out for this game and obviously for probably a few more weeks. And Steve Hendrickson from California, number 34, has taken his spot. Hendrickson, who grew up in that great wine country, Sonoma-Napa Valley, Napa California High School, hunted on the Farniente Vineyards grounds as a kid.
He would play without a helmet.
He would. And so would Seau. 2nd and 4. Big hole. And Anders all the way to the 40-yard line and a first down. 14 on the play. Carrington another tackle. Well, you said you wanted more run. So did Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah, but the run is not necessarily to gain yards. They like it. They'll certainly take it, and this is good blocking. But it alleviates the pressure of the pass rush against Joe Montana. The Chiefs, their thinking has changed, and that's their first down of the game, running the ball. Not bad.
With Kimball Anders, who had only one rushing attempt in his career prior to this season. Of course, Christian Okoye and Barry Ward gone, and Anders takes over in the backfield. And with Marcus Allen, even Todd McNair rarely getting any duty. And Joe Montana didn't beat that 40-second clock.
That's part of the learning curve of this offense.
As Joe Montana and the whistle sounds, and Marcus Allen coming in to protect his quarterback against Leslie O'Neal. That's another thing about both these men are such great leaders. Not only their talent, but their leadership. And Marcus doesn't allow any nonsense. And that typical slashing running delivery of Allen out to the 38, maybe the 39. Grossman and O'Neal, the tackle. Gary Plummer. Marcus made an interesting comment, a little off the subject, but with quarterbacks. And that is about Todd Marinovich, who is the Raider quarterback. And he said he's really worried about him. He says, I hope someone finds this young man. And then he said he would be perfect in this offense.
I was shocked when he said that. I really was. I mean, he didn't think that the offense at Raiders really lended itself well, but he thought Marinovich was a very instinctive quarterback. I didn't buy that.
Montana floats one. That's a wobbler, but almost gets there, and a flag is down, and one has to suspect a hold on Sean Van Horst. J.J. Burden. But even when the pass isn't pretty, and that wasn't that nice clean spiral from Montana, it was almost right there.
It's close.
And only in a place where the receiver had a shot at.
Yeah, that's not coachable either.
Pass interference, number 24, defense, automatic first down.
They called 24, but it was 25. Van Horst, the cornerback in coverage. And
well, maybe he gets a bump. No, this is Van Horst all the way.
That's the hitch and go, and you're allowed one hit inside 5 yards. And when you buy the hitch, you can't make any other contact. That's an excellent call, and it ends up being a 22-yard gain.
And a first down at the San Diego 39. Just underway second half. The Chiefs leading the Chargers 10-7. Fake to Marcus. He brought 2 men with him, and the throw incomplete to Mike Dial, the tight end. What a fake to Allen. 2 Chargers went for Allen, and the pass just off the fingertips of Mike Dial, another ex-Raider.
Gary Plummer, the middle linebacker, was in coverage. Dial is over here on the left-hand side. Watch him come across. Plummer does a great job of picking him up, but Montana, with that accuracy, still tries to put it between fingertips, and most times he gets it done.
As Albert Lewis has said about Montana, even when he just misses where you can't intercept.
Yeah, that's right.
Give DeMar fumble, and Allen able to recover it with Chris Mims, 94 there for San Diego.
Dick, that whole play was a mess. First of all, one of the receivers was in the wrong formation. They were late getting there. Joe doesn't. He puts it in there. There's no question that Joe put it in there. Marcus just didn't hang on to it. That brings up a 3rd down and 10+ yards.
Marcus has said that he considered the Washington Redskins seriously. Didn't want to come to San Diego. Didn't want to come home. Wanted to get away from L.A., San Diego. 10 carries, only 17 yards for Allen, who's in motion here. Montana. Oh, almost a one-handed catch by J.J. Burton.
Boy, it looked
Darian Gordon on the coverage.
And it looked like Gordon had a handful of arm there.
See other late scores. Phoenix leading the Redskins.
Man coverage, you got 2 deep zones. See his left arm kind of reaches out there. I don't know where it is in the playbook, but defensive coaches teach that little move to defensive backs, and it's very disruptive to a receiver.
So at the 40-yard line, too great a distance for Nick Lowry, so Barker will pooch a punt. Gordon drops back to the 10-yard line. And out of bounds it goes at the 10-yard line with 11:39 remaining in the 3rd quarter, in Kansas City by 3. Bridge going over to Coronado Island, and John Freeze, a 90-yard bridge to the end zone, gives to Marion Butts, and Butts, who's had more than 6 yards per carry production today, gets only 2 or 3 on that effort, out to about the 12-13. He has 41 yards on the afternoon.
When this guy's healthy, he and Barry Foster, I think, are the 2 best big backs there are in the league. There are others, but these guys are just true hammers. Barry Foster and Marion Butts.
5 years for Butts with the Chargers. He's led them in rushing every year, including this one. 2nd and 8. Freeze to Lewis. And that won't be enough for a first down. Doug Terry, 25, makes the tackle.
One of the problems, I think, that San Diego has suffered is when they give it to Butts. When they throw it to Anthony Miller. So anything that another receiver can do to kind of alleviate the pressure helps, but then you've got a holding penalty on San Diego again, Dick.
Joe Milenchik, I think he had a fistful of Joe Phillips.
That's a big fistful. Joe Phillips is no midget.
6'5" and 300 pounds. Well, he's lucky to be alive. Joe Phillips, who was really beaten up in a terrible encounter. 4 men took him down, steel-plated cowboy boots, kicked him. He's had 4 surgeries on his left cheek area. His eye still has vision problems.
Said it changed him forever. He'll never feel secure again.
Freeze. Long downfield to Miller. What a catch at the 50-yard line as he battled with Kevin Ross. That was a basketball play.
And I'm not sure there's any better receiver in the league at doing this. Going up with a defender and coming down with a football. A couple of years ago, Anthony Miller had great difficulty hanging onto the football. Great hand strength and forearm strength. That's what separated him from Kevin Ross.
He's among the leaders this year. That's his 31st catch. That one good for 43 yards and field position at the 49 of San Diego. Sally Amua in the backfield hits Butts, and it's not often that you'll drop Marion Butts for a loss.
Only when he's going sideways. Sally Amua, he plays off the line of scrimmage. Here's Sally Amua. Plays way off the line of scrimmage, runs behind the center, Courtney Hall. Sally Amua, I saw his family outside the stadium when I came in this morning. They were already roasting the pig.
They're here to cheer their son, a San Diego native. Father, like Derek Thomas's father, was killed in action in Vietnam.
Blitz.
And it's Butts. Couldn't drag himself free from number 92, Darren Mickle.
I don't know what San Diego fans are booing about here. That's a long yardage situation. A draw play is an excellent call there. Kansas City just came with a little stunt up front, and Mickle ran right into the play, but that's not a bad call.
Bobby Ross sends in his third down specialist, Ronnie Harmon, and don't let Ronnie know that I said that, because he doesn't like talking of being a third down back. In fact, he's been frustrated about not being able to run the ball more. He is one of the great receivers out of the back.
But he's been quiet today, Dick.
Flags all over the place, and Neil Smith all over Freeze.
Is it on the tackle?
Not for a loss. Penalty flag on the field.
Did Smith get the jump, or was he drawn? Still wearing that tape over the bridge of his nose. He broke his nose a year ago.
Purely cosmetic. It doesn't help him. See what Jerry Markwright is going to say.
Offside, number 90, defense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
You know, he did get Stan Brock, the offensive tackle, to move. Here's the combination right here. And that's twice now. See it? Well, I guess Brock was on the ball. Neil Smith was the one who was across the line of scrimmage.
Yes, Marcus Allen, if there are any surprises, you have impressions of players and then you join them. He says, yeah, I thought Neil Smith was a jerk when I played against him, but he's a jerk only on the field. But he's such a terrific guy in person.
Yeah, and he's a real jerk on the field, too.
That's a compliment. Freeze has a man at the 33-yard line, and it's Anthony Miller. Albert Lewis on the coverage. First down.
Now, we were led to believe last night, talking to Albert Lewis, that he was going to be hooked up with Anthony Miller all day long in bump and run, man-on-man coverage. We've seen Kevin Ross quite a bit on Anthony Miller, but wow, what a move. I mean, to accelerate that much, stop on a dime, turn around, ball there, 15-yard pickup. Let's keep it going.
Miller, who grew up near the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Big fan of Lynn Swann. Had his 88 jersey. Wore that as a kid. 10-7 Kansas City. Freeze. First down. Dumps it off to Marion Butts, who are using him as a receiver more, and they get 9 on that play. Tracy Rogers with the tackle. First catch for Butts.
You know, whenever you see Marion Butts out there in the flat, or a back of that size, catch the football, you generally see defensive backs diving for ankles, looking for shoestrings. And in that case, it was David Whitmore, number 41. He squared up. Butts didn't make too much a move, but you really don't want solid contact against that big body if you're a defensive back.
You know, Whitmore is the biggest of the Chiefs backs at 232. Second and short. Freeze deep. Dwayne Young, the tight end, covered by Whitmore, 41. The trade for Montana to give the 49ers the #1 pick involved getting Montana and Whitmore, who covers on this play.
Watch the pressure here by Leonard Griffin. I believe that's Leonard Griffin up there, 98. No one touches him. He puts his helmet right in the chest. Freeze is able to get it off, but somebody's got to block Leonard Griffin.
Now a third and a long one. Freeze is 9 for 13, 1 interception. He's used 6 different receivers today. Butts. And the mark looks to be good enough for the first down at the 24 of the Chiefs.
You know, the remarkable thing about Marion Butts is, in conversations we had with Marion last year at Florida State, he was not really much of a running back, more of a special teams player, a blocker, only carried the ball 64 times, I think, in his whole career there.
Right. 64.
This guy is still learning how to be a running back in the NFL. And, of course, this year, first year, he's really featured because in previous seasons he's been there with Rod Bernstein. They kind of shared the duty. Bernstein now in Denver.
At Florida State, he was known for blocking for Sammy Smith.
Yeah.
He was a #1 draft pick of the Miami Dolphins. That's why he was around on the 7th round for the Chargers to make their selection. And they honestly said they thought he was a special teamer and a backup running back. First down. Trailing by 3. Freeze. Underneath. Butts again. To the 18-yard line where Tracy Simeon makes the tackle. Simeon, the top tackler for Kansas City the last 2 seasons.
John Freeze is doing an excellent job here of looking at the defense, identifying it properly, and then going to the underneath receiver. That's twice now he's hit butts. And he's a big man to get down. I mean, that's not much of a reception. Ends up being almost a 6-yard gain.
3 tight ends now for the Chargers. Walker, Young, and Pupunu.
This formation worked well in the first half, running the ball.
2nd and 3. Butts. First down to the 9, and another flag down, and it's right on the corner. Remember, in the first half on a similar play, there was a holding call right on that critical corner block.
Now they're trying to get that outside linebacker. See if in fact that is the call.
Chiefs say it is against San Diego. Mark Bright's going to need some throat lozenges after this one.
Jerry has the voice to be on, Mike.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, they didn't identify who it was. That's the college way. Bobby Ross wants to know who it was. Who was it, he says. Who was it? Just let me know.
That's another way of a coach saying, don't you know who was it?
Yes.
70 yards and penalties marked off against the Chargers, but that doesn't include an 89-yard touchdown call back.
The reception by Lewis was a thing of beauty.
That was a freeze. Incomplete, and it certainly seemed to be late contact after the 5 yards, and fans let the officials know.
Well, Kansas City now trying to put a little heat on John Freeze. Watch Tracy Simeon on the blitz. They're now committing 5 to the quarterback. He runs by Harry Swain, 72. And again, here's the matchup. Albert Lewis, Anthony Miller. A little hesitation. Lewis doesn't buy it.
Lewis, one of the best in that man coverage. John Carney warms up just in case. 3rd down and 13. Freeze to the end zone for Harmon. Almost intercepted by, or was it Dale Carter? So Carter knocks it away, the #1 pick a year ago from Tennessee.
Harmon makes the move out of the backfield. Carter gets his head around, now the jump. And he does the smart thing. He just knocks the ball out of bounds.
Here's John Carney. He's been the hometown hero for San Diego, winning 2 games with his right foot in no touchdown scored by San Diego, getting 6 out of 6, 2 games, 1 to beat Seattle, the other against Houston, and this is his first attempt today to tie the game.
He's got his holder back, John Kidd. When John Kidd had his bad back, John Freeze was the holder. Kidd is a much better holder, and Freeze can go over and talk to the coaches on the sideline.
46-yard attempt to tie. Former Notre Dame kicker. Might have been partially blocked. It looked like Neil Smith who got a hand on it. And it's Kansas City's ball at about the 18-yard line, and Marty Schottenheimer loves it.
But he's upset because the receiver, Terry, tried to catch the ball. He wanted him to leave it alone, take no chances. 90 right up the middle. Yeah, he does get great penetration. But but you should never field that kick after it's blocked. Let it bounce.
Kansas City picked Neil Smith with a second selection of the draft 5 years ago, and many wondered if it was wise. He's proving to be one of the real forces defensively. Gets his first block. Oh my. Kimball Anders right in the basket and couldn't take it away. So the Chargers go 63 yards, 12 plays, used over 7 minutes, no points. And San Diego still with only 5 touchdowns in this their 6th game.
But they did score their first touchdown here.
Right.
So, I mean, at least the San Diego fans had something to cheer about.
Montana at the 18. Now, if the Chiefs hadn't fielded the ball, they would have gotten it at the line of scrimmage of the field goal, which was around the 28. So they lost 10 yards. That may have been what Marty was yelling about. Anders, a yard, almost 2. Seau goes into his kickboxing celebration. He hasn't been in a lot of tackles today.
Well, one of the things you sacrifice when you move Junior Seau outside to an outside linebacker is you can run away from it. That play he catches from behind.
Chargers have 5 touchdowns. As you look at Junior Seau, who grew up just north of San Diego in Oceanside. Andre Reed and Calvin Williams had 5 touchdowns coming into today. That's as many as the entire San Diego team.
Amazing.
3rd and 8. Defense keeping San Diego in the game. Flag down. And this may be the 3rd time that Montana has not been able to get the play off in time. That is quite unusual.
There's certainly been a lot of conversation about that 40-second clock. It's had an effect on a lot of teams that use motion and substitution offensively.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
This is when you want the play coming from the sideline. There's Matt Blunden, the backup quarterback. Dave Craig 17. Blunden signals it into Joe Montana.
Six DBs for San Diego. 3.5 minutes left in the 3rd period. Montana, Grossman with a sack. Bert Grossman. At the 8-yard line, the 3rd San Diego sack today.
Grossman, not a particularly great move, just the offensive tackle just flat missed him. That's Sigler, 66. Grossman put that big swim move inside and was right in Joe Montana's face.
Oh, Barker once again will have to punt out of his own end zone. Gordon at midfield. Oh, almost blocked. Gordon, a fair catch at the 45-yard line. Dale Carter right there. Gordon kind of handing the ball to Carter and risking a possible fumble. 37-yard punt, timeout. Well, we were away. That's John Old and the medical team. Ooh, they hit the wrong nerve there, and Alt, the Pro Bowl tackle, wincing. We have no report officially as to the seriousness of that right knee malady. Well, the Chargers again with good field position at the 46 of Kansas City. Late 3rd quarter. Chiefs by 3. This is a typical game. Marty Schottenheimer said, we were talking in his suite last night. He said, hey, you know it's going to be close.
It always is.
Harmon and Means in the backfield this time for Freeze. And the give to Means. Trying to run that right side. Oh, you got to like the effort from this young guy from Carolina.
Yeah, but they had Ronnie Harmon there as kind of a lead blocker. Not a role he's accustomed to, and I'll leave it at that.
Harmon out. He hasn't been a factor today, but certainly fear strikes fear in the hearts of a lot of defensive coordinators because of his ability to catch and run, and led the NFL catches by running back last year with 79. 2nd and 7. Can't get away from Saliamua. Down he goes at the 45. He knows where his folks are sitting.
Boy, Dick, he came from a long way away. Saliamua playing nose tackle. Watch what he does here. He comes all the way out here to make this sack. And it's by design, too. You see the inside rush of the other two guys. And the Tron Means can't get to him. Boy, that is a big guy to be running out there like that, chasing down quarterbacks. And there's the Saliamuas.
He is a delightful personality. Saliamua, I wouldn't want him to tackle me.
No.
The give inside is to Eric Bieniemy to the 45-yard line. And on 4th and 9, the punting team on. And the fans, understandably here in San Diego, after celebrating that remarkable recovery from an 0-4 start last year to win the AFC West and then to win against Kansas City in the playoffs, and then see a team this year score just 5 touchdowns in now 6 games. Not happy about any call like that one.
Yeah, and Dick, they have wasted such great field position here several times with penalties and just misplays like that, and a sack here and there.
Field goal blocked, a long field goal. Now Kidd sends it high, and Burton will let it go into the end zone. So it'll be Kansas City's ball on the touchback at the 20-yard line. A minute to go in the third when we come back. Welcome back to San Diego, and joining us in the NBC booth, Dr. Al Sellner, who's the director of the Human Performance Center in Los Angeles and studying kinesiology, physiological movements. And Joe Montana has all our attention. And you've compared the Montana of today with the Montana of 11 years ago. I want to get your results after this first play here.
Very interesting.
1 minute to go in this third quarter, and Montana goes to work now. You'll take film and you put it through a computer, and you come out with those stick figures, and then you analyze.
That's exactly what we try to do.
Well, here comes Montana, who is 13 for 24 today, a touchdown and an interception. Charger defense has been his match. Alternate receiver is Kimball Anders, the fullback, who's hit at the 23-yard line. Let's look at some 1993 this year, Montana throwing, and you took this and put it into the computer.
Yes, we take the video, put it into the computer, and we're trying to find out how well how good his arm is. Now you can see he's got full extension, good range of motion. He's got a full arm motion. Now we look at the stick figure, and now look how smooth his throw is. Watch the tracing of his hand as he comes all the way through. It's smooth, even. If he had pain, there'd be a hitch there somewhere, and there's not.
2nd down and 7. And Gary Plummer stuffs the run attempt, and the Chargers have done a good job of stopping the run since the early going. So you compared that this year footage with the young Montana arm of 11 years ago. Has he lost anything off the fastball?
Not at all. His wrist, his elbow, and his shoulder all go together, and they're doing just great. It's amazing.
We'll return after these words from your local station. We go to the fourth quarter in San Diego. Kansas City with a great start, trying to up their record to 5-1 behind Montana atop the AFC West. San Diego desperate for a victory that would take them to 3-all. The Chiefs lead by a field goal. This is 3rd and 5 for Montana. Dropped over the middle by Willie Davis, right at the 30-yard line, and the Charger defense has held again. As Montana goes off the field, Doctor, very quickly, you also analyzed the hamstring injury. Your thoughts there?
Right, we ran the video and we looked at his hamstring injury, and we think he injured it while he was in bounds, but we're concerned about his future. Left hamstring's really important to a quarterback. He uses it to pull him through his throwing. It's likely that he's probably in the rest of the year going to have a re-injury to that muscle, and if he does, it's going to be very difficult to heal before the end of the year.
All right, we thank you for your expertise in the computerized world. And now back to the reality of this punt by Barker, a floater. Gordon comes up to get it on the run. 45, breaks a tackle, has some blockers now. 40, one man to beat. 30, Gordon, 10, down at the 4-yard line. Oh my! Stanford rookie Darian Gordon, 54 yards.
He did a great job of avoiding all of the pressure here. And then it's just up to little. Barker misses the kicker. The last guy to stop him is Martin Bayless. And if Eric Bieniemy, number 32, makes a decent block, he goes in.
Yeah, he had 3 men out there to block for him, and Bieniemy couldn't take care of Bayless. 32-yard punt, 54 on the return to the 3-yard line.
You can tell he's got young legs. He stops and starts like it's nobody's business.
Stanford's made a couple of top contributions to the AFC West. Gordon here in San Diego. Glenn Milburn at Denver. First down to Butts. Nothing there as Tracy Simeon, 250 pounds, a middle backer, stops him cold.
Well, again now, San Diego has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And with this big bludgeoning offense, look at Bobby Ross is calling a timeout here. I can't imagine why, other than to change the formation. Does he get the timeout yet? John Freeze finally recognizes it.
Less than a minute gone in the 4th quarter. The Chargers threatening to take the lead. And for San Diego, the beauty of that blue that represents the end zone is their design. 2nd and goal. Play action. Freeze into the end zone, incomplete. And the 2 men, Papunu and Young, the tight ends, crossing and ran right into the same pattern.
There was also one wide open. Deems May, watch the far side of the end zone. Let's see if we can pick it up. I don't know which tight end it is, but watch right out here as this play develops. A tight end is lost. John Freeze is looking to the right. Here he is right there, going right over there.
Oh, my.
He is wide open. That's an easy 6 points. Freeze does not see him.
3rd and goal from the 4 after the Gordon punt return. Miller in motion. It goes to Harmon. Touchdown. Go Miller, Anthony Miller, who started inside and then did that veer back outside, that arrow move, and that's a 49er offense play.
That was Albert Lewis in coverage, too.
I saw the 3 and not the 8. I figured, well, that's got to be Harmon, but Miller, who started inside and then ran a terrific pattern back outside.
They are very similar in size. I don't blame you. Normally, when a receiver goes into the formation, he does not come back out in a pattern.
4-yard touchdown pass, and San Diego leads for the first time today. Carney out of Kidd's hold. 14-10.
Here's the motion you were talking about, Dick. He goes in here. You see a tight end here, a tight end here. Here's the man in coverage. And Anthony Miller runs a great pattern. Normally, you don't see a receiver come back out here. Albert Lewis thinks he's going through. Freeze makes a good pass, and now San Diego a flood of touchdowns.
2. Miller's 2nd of the season.
You see, they try to run a little pick there, but Anthony Miller, great strength. Albert Lewis can't catch up to him, and it is an easy score.
4 yards on the touchdown, but that man, Darian Gordon's 54-yard punt return made it happen.
Well, boy, as you said earlier, Dick, Marty Schottenheimer certainly called this one, didn't he? And it doesn't make a difference what problem San Diego has. It's going to be a very close game.
Now John Freeze has matched Joe Montana, a touchdown each, interception each, although Montana plus 60 yards with more pass attempts. And now the leaders in the West, Kansas City, must try to rally from behind.
And you know, a big part of Joe Montana's reputation is what he did with San Francisco late stages of a football game. He's yet to display that with Kansas City, but this is a big part of the luster, the aura of Joe Montana.
Well, we were there for one of the classics in the Super Bowl in Miami.
Cincinnati.
Took them the full length of the field with a couple of minutes to go and beat the Bengals.
Wasn't that a 92-yard drive, as I remember?
John Taylor.
John Taylor.
Carney. to Fred Jones at the 5. And Jones gets only to the 16-yard line. The Chargers have one of the best report cards in the league in stopping the kickoff return. Curtis Whitley made that tackle. And a reminder tonight, more action for you. Montana has engineered 26 fourth quarter comeback wins. Down the middle, wide open tight end Hayes, and he takes a lick from Richard and Carrington, the two safeties. But it's a first down just shy of the 35. 18 yards.
Jonathan Hayes, a tight end who probably living on borrowed time in this offense. They need someone who is a little more active. They're an excellent reception. Montana has used that tight end throughout his career. It's tight ends keep defenses honest.
Hayes with 2 catches today, 8 for the year. But in this offense, that tight end might be around 20 at this point.
Yeah, should be.
Marcus Allen has been quiet since the early going. Good pickup on first down here, about 7. Stanley Richard with a tackle.
Dick, this is a very interesting formation. They have 2 tight ends set to the far side, and they run to the near side. It's the outside Bert Grossman. Kimmel Anders gets about a half a block on each guy, and it was just enough for Marcus Allen to get around the corner.
2nd and 3. Allen with 26 yards rushing has a touchdown reception, 15 yards. It started the scoring in the first period. Wide open is Barnett. Whoa! So close to breaking that one for the touchdown. Stanley Richard got enough of a twist on him to take him down. 22 yards, wide open.
Now, Dick, that was the same formation. 2 tight ends right. They take the run right. They got single coverage out here totally on Barnett. And Joe Montana, again, Van Horst in coverage. Very catchable. Yes, he doesn't have to stretch for it, just reach for it. And he almost breaks the tackle and goes all the way.
Barnett, who is the cousin of Fred, the wide receiver with the Eagles, his first catch today. Montana has him on the move. Oh, through the hands of Allen. A little behind him. Junior Seau on the coverage.
See, that's one of the things when you play with Joe Montana, every receiver in the pattern's got to be wide awake on every play. Because you don't know when he's going to pull the trigger.
That's not to suggest that Marcus wasn't awake.
No.
That you know when you that ball snapped that it might be.
That's right. The best thing about this offense is it's a progression. 1, 2, 3 and receiver. The worst thing is if you're the 3rd receiver, you got to act like you're the 1st receiver. Be ready.
The give is to Anders. They try to cross up. Now that's a typical inspired by Bill Walsh move where you're on a passing down, you go to the run, and Anders picks up around 4 or 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Slows the pass rush down, anchors those defensive linemen a little bit. This is the big down. You do run some dummy downs in this game to leave an impression on the defense.
They are in long field goal range. To Burden, and he's out of bounds right at the yardstick. We'll see where they spot it. Officials foot down as Darian Gordon there is an extra defensive back to make the stop. John Alt is down again back at the 40-yard line.
He finds the receiver. Joe Montana always finds the receiver. And you know, there was an accusation that used to be made about San Francisco running picks with people.
No.
Well, if you watch what happens here, you'll see the way here comes the man in motion. There is a little, shall we say, traffic created here to allow Burton to break out there and be wide open. It's allowable, and they use it.
It's a first down as well. We'll be back. Well, John Gonzalez's cameras showed you John Alt with that right knee pain earlier. He's taken off, and Derek Graham, the starter earlier this year at right tackle, has moved to that critical blindside left tackle position. Anders going to throw, and he's covered well, and down he goes. Les Leon That might be a sack for O'Neal, who already has 1 today and 5 on the season.
Well, the cornerback didn't buy the sweep. I don't know how he read it, but the cornerback, you'll see at the top of the screen, when the sweep starts, something convinces him that this is a pattern and not a run, because he doesn't bite. He stays right with him all the way. Anders has nobody to throw it to, and he just eats it.
It is a sack for O'Neal, his second today. Second down, 15. Chargers lead 14-10. Montana to Burton, and that's going to be close to a first down at the 17-yard line of the Chargers. A 13-yard pickup. Gordon and Pope, 2 extra defensive backs in to make the tackle.
Montana looking right into the sun. See the outside release, beautifully done by J.J. Burton. Buys him separation, and again, between the 8 and the 8, Montana catches it where you can hang on to it and still take the hit.
3rd and 2. Montana spread it around. 8 different receivers. Play action. Incomplete, and it was Seau that forced Montana to hurry. That little dance he calls the Thunderbolt.
There was also great coverage on Dial, the tight end. He's the intended receiver on the bootleg here. The fake to the running back. Seau comes inside, and right behind Mike Dial is Darren Carrington. And Joe realizes they can't pick up the first down.
Kind of looked like you at the dance last night, that lightning bolt. Here's Lowry to try to pull Kansas City within 35 yards, and he hits the upright. No good. It remains 14-10 San Diego. Nick Lowry, the most accurate field goal kicker in history, over 80%. It looks good, and then hooks and slams into that left upright. And the Chargers love what they see and maintain the 14-10 lead. Marty figuring field goal now, and another one can win the game. Starting from the 20 freeze with 9 minutes 17 seconds to go. Swing out to Means. Well read by the Chiefs. Tracy Rogers and Kevin Ross.
Well, this is the defensive series of the game now. Kansas City's got to get this ball back with decent field position. There's Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator. And I would have thought that the opening play by San Diego here would be Means carrying the ball. This is the time where you want those blunderbusses up at the line of scrimmage. Eat time off the clock.
Miller to the left. Lewis to the right. H-back Young in motion. The throw to Miller. Is it a catch? Yes. And then a fumble. And the Chiefs have it on the turnover. Oh, no, here comes the other official in. And he says incomplete. The official on the Kansas City sidelines saw it as a catch and fumble, but the official deep downfield waves it off incomplete.
That's the field judge that did that, but I don't know that he had a look at it.
Well, let's see. You be the judge.
Miller runs the slant, and there's a double hit. Well, I don't know. And the official that makes the call, if we'll stop this right at the point where, right there, the official that makes the call is coming from down here. I don't know why he can see. Did you think that was bobbled? No, I think he put it away.
Well, he was about to, at least. And I guess it depends on whether or not you're looking at it with San Diego or Kansas City eyes.
Sure, but from the position the field judge made the call, he had to look through Whitmore to see it.
Don Hicks with one of the many difficult calls. It goes on 3rd and 8. Freeze to Harmon. Ronnie Harmon to the 45. First down. Mincy with a tackle. That's Harmon's first catch of the day. Came in with 24 in the season.
They fake the draw, and he comes up through there beautifully. This is a very difficult catch. Harmon runs by the linebacker. Freeze gets it up in the air enough that Harmon can run under. It ends up being a 23-yard pickup.
Knowing all the time that he was going to take a lick from somebody that he didn't see. Oh, what a good open field tackle by Kevin Ross. Here's Ross, 185 pounds, giving away about 60 pounds to Means and just drops him in his tracks.
Well, you certainly hope you can catch those big running backs running sideways.
The Rock.
And Kevin Ross did. That helped, but you're right. It takes guts to get up there.
Loss of a yard on the play. Rossi's set his favorite with Jack Tatum and Jack Lambert. And they've been proud of that kind of hit.
Couple of smashers right there.
Freeze has a man open. It's Harmon on the sidelines. Steps out at the 44 of the Chiefs. First down.
And he's got a linebacker in coverage on him, Dick. John Freeze is doing an excellent job. I take it back. That's not a linebacker. That's Whitmore, the safety in coverage. And John Freeze is doing an excellent job of recognizing who is covering whom. You see Tracy Simeon come in late. That's just taking advantage of the alignment of the defense.
Whitmore with linebacker build, 6 feet and 232. Try to check on the injured Chief. Let's see if it's Whitmore. Hit by his own man. When Simeon came in, he really clipped Whitmore.
And he was holding his left knee when he went down.
7 minutes to go here in San Diego. A reminder that next Saturday they work on Whitmore. John Freeze like to get in a little deeper for a possible field goal that would give the Chargers a touchdown advantage. He's 14 for 22. Fumbles.
Oh, no.
Still free. Oh, Kevin Ross had a touchdown, and Natron Means covers it. Oh, Ross, it was there for the taking. He was going to scoop and flow.
Scoop and flow. They were a vaudeville act, I believe, and but it's a mistake. You're down in this game. Here's Kevin Ross. He's going to get in the mix here. Get on the ball. The points aren't as important right now as possession. Means does a heck of a job. Drags that ball away from Kevin Ross. Watch number 20. Sticks his arm out there. Oh, man, that is a veteran move.
Boy, that is a bigger play perhaps than his touchdown earlier. Freeze now will go deep for Lewis. Almost intercepted by Albert Lewis. And Freeze slow gathering himself after a hit as he threw. Oh, the courage it takes to play that spot. And Chargers had one of the most courageous ever, Dan Fouts.
Yes. Look at the speed that Lewis has here.
Albert Lewis closing in, and with help from Charles Mincy, it was Albert that had a chance for the interception. And here's the hit taken by the quarterback. Oh, my. Tim Newton, whose brother Nate the Kitchen plays the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys, and Freeze shaken up, and Stan Humphries comes in. First appearance by the man who led the Chargers to the playoffs last year. Timeout. Stan Humphries, quick transition from helmet back into headphones, as with a full timeout, Freeze can come back into the game. The Chargers have only one timeout left. Could be a factor. Kansas City with all three. Chiefs trail 14-10. A 3rd and 13 for Freeze. Oh, a good block on Kevin Ross. And caught downfield by Sean Jefferson. His first catch of the game, 22 yards. He's had only 6 now all season. No wonder he's happy.
This is a design rollout, and watch the block on Kevin Ross by, I believe it's Deems May, number 88. Freeze, that's a great throw.
That's a throw Montana would have been proud.
It's Derek Walker, 89, that makes the block. Kevin Ross is still hurt. Freese does a great job of squaring his shoulders and getting the ball down there. Big throw.
Sean Jefferson from Central Florida with a catch. He became San Diego property by way of a draft pick when that Lee Williams was traded to Houston a couple of years ago. They also got a draft pick. No, he was actually with Houston at the time, and the Chargers picked up Chris Mims from Tennessee with a draft pick in that Lee Williams trade.
That was an awful big completion there. Rolling left on the right with a right-handed quarterback and zipping that thing in there to Sean Jefferson.
The 8th receiver used by Freese. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
Montana using it. And now they're well in field goal range with 5:12 left. But a touchdown could really be fatal to Kansas City. Means they're trying to tackle the ball at the 18. Doug Terry gets him down. And Marty will spend a timeout early.
He's got to. The defense is the only way they can stop the clock is to take the timeouts. They got to save time for the offense now.
4:53 to go. John Freese, who played his college ball at the University of Idaho, wasn't even recruited by any of the Pac-10 teams and has developed as a 6th-round pick here with the Chargers. And with Stan Humphries' problems with that shoulder, if Bobby Ross now with a bye next week, and Humphries is just, one day a great day and next day not so good. And Bobby Ross felt if Freese could help, hold together, get them a win, not use Humphries, then a bye week, then Stan Humphries might benefit as well by Freese's performance.
I asked John when we were sitting there, John Freese, I said, did sitting out last year help you? And he said, yeah, I got a chance to read more defenses, look at more defenses, pay a lot of attention to how Humphries did this, be a part of a winning thing. I mean, this guy's only started 4 games coming into this season, so the more looks he gets, the better off he is.
2nd down and 3. Freese is 4 and 14 as a starter. Those 4 wins as a starter prior to today. This is Means. Yeah, he is tough to bring down. Not much to grab. He's only 5'11", and when you grab it, it's 250 pounds.
Yeah, and most rookie running backs, they stick their head down and they just bang into people. This kid is keeping his head up with the wiggle, bounces around, and finds a little dead spot, gets a couple of yards.
And with it, a 1st down, so Schottenheimer uses another timeout. Number 19. Joe Montana, hoping the defense can hold at least to force a field goal so that he might have another chance to rally Kansas City. And the home field advantage for San Diego holding true for the moment as they go for their 10th consecutive win. This is a must-stop for the Kansas City defense. 1st down, 4:39 to go. Only 1 timeout left for the Chiefs. And Means, the young man from North Carolina, bumping outside and losing yards. Charles Mincy comes up from the secondary, and that's the last timeout for Kansas City. Stayed in bounds. And the Chargers needed their desperate voices of these fans. A loss today would have taken San Diego down to 2-4 and maybe ruined any hopes of a repeat this year. Here's Means. And on 2nd down, just running it straight ahead. The Chargers know they've got the field goal and almost on 2nd down acted as though that's how they were playing it.
Absolutely. Taking no chances. Of course, we know, being around Bobby Ross last year, what a conservative coach he is. He doesn't like to take chances.
He brings in Harmon and Jefferson on 3rd down. And the clock, of course, they'll let that chew up as much as possible. It's now under 4 minutes. Kansas City has no way to stop it with the timeout. Big play here for both teams. Fake reverse. Freese throws it away. So good coverage. The Chiefs not fooled a bit. Nate Lewis was the intended receiver. And a flag is down.
San Diego only had 3 guys in the pattern there, too. Ronnie Harmon, Nate Lewis, and Anthony Miller. I'm kind of surprised. Miller was open for a minute. See what the penalty
Holding
is.
against San Diego. Mark Bright's preliminary signal, and now that's tempting for the Chiefs. Do you give them another chance, or do you say go ahead and kick the field goal from there?
Holding, number 89, offense. Penalty is declined. Fourth down.
Going to take a touchdown anyway for Kansas City, so you might as well save yourself the time and have Carney kick the shorter attempt.
That's the key. Kansas City needs time. Yards don't make any difference.
Carney, who had one blocked from 46 yards by Neil Smith earlier in this half. This one will be 31 yards. Make it 30 officially. NFL record setter, 29 in a row with his work earlier in this season. Kidd spots it. Blocked again.
Leave it alone. Don't touch it. They learn, Dick. They learn.
So 2 blocks by the Kansas City defense, and we'll check the replay to get the man to credit for that one. So the Chiefs will take over on the 20-yard line.
Dick, again, it looks like it comes up the middle. It is a big shove. Yeah, it's Neil Smith.
2 blocks for Neil Smith. The arm of the law, that big left hand.
You can see the shove. Carney kicks right into it. Well,
Neil Smith writing his name on that Pro Bowl ballot with his play today. Comes out to the 20-yard line, and with a 14-10 lead. The explanation by Mark Bright is why the ball is being spotted at the 20, since the line of scrimmage was inside the 20. Montana looking for number 27 in that heroics department.
And now, Dick, because they have no timeouts left, this is a 2-minute hurry-up offense.
But they've got 3:28.
Makes no difference. Time is with no timeouts. It's a hurry-up situation.
In the last 5 minutes, the out of bounds will stop the clock. Wide open, the tight end. And it's Keith Cash. A flag is down. And the way Montana's acting, it might be against San Diego for roughing him.
Personal foul. Now, wait a minute, gentlemen. Penalties have hurt San Diego all day long. Who did this one?
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on number 89. Hit the quarterback with his helmet. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
Must be 98. There is no 89 on defense for San Diego.
Here is 98 Sean Lee. He's double teamed. Oh, that's the helmet to the head, but I don't know why the flag is there. I mean, I know you can't hit the head, but the Grizz, they called it pretty tight there on Grizzly.
They sure did. That's the Baccarat call. You know, Crystal there in the pocket.
That's right. Yeah, but they're not supposed to protect the quarterback more than any other quarter. I don't think that was a vicious hit at all.
First down at the San Diego 43. Kansas City trails by 4. Anders. No catch. For those of you just joining us, Kansas City has the ball in San Diego territory with 3 minutes 16 seconds to go. 2nd and 10. Underneath and behind Kimball Anders, well covered by Marquez Pope, an extra DB.
San Diego had 6 defensive backs in the ball game, and I do notice also that Keith Cash is in at tight end. Eventually, someone has to emerge here for Kansas City as that outlet as a tight end for Joe Montana, because these are situations where he employs the tight end so much. And Bill Arnsparger, the defensive genius on the other side, trying to stop this drive.
3rd and 10. And the 3 passes in this sequence have been 3 of the poorest thrown by Montana all day. Good pressure on him, and Donald Frank covering. in the Charger defense. A Charger team that has seen 2 field goals blocked, an 89-yard touchdown pass called back by penalty, but still lead 14-10 with 3:07 to go, and on 4th down, Kansas City must go for it. 4th and 10.
Arnsparger that time came with a blitz. Junior Seau added pressure on Montana.
Super Joe is 19 for 36. 1 for 2 on 4th downs. What a play, and it's a first down at the 31-yard line.
And Marty Schottenheimer's telling him, get to the line of scrimmage.
Willie Davis and Montana on the run, throwing against his body, threaded it through the defense.
And that time he threw it low, which is where you want it, so it's not picked off.
4th and 10 converted by Montana. And now the slant, and caught number 81, Hassan Jones, and they rule it a catch, his second today.
Plenty of time. They got the 2-minute warning to stop the clock. Kansas City can be very patient for this next couple of plays.
And San Diego might be wise in not letting too much time go by. Should Kansas City score, San Diego might want to have little time themselves left. The lob to Keith Cash over Marquez Pope.
And Montana hurt his hamstring.
He comes up limping for the first time today.
He thought about running, Dick, and he was running in a straight line forward.
That's where he said it bothered him.
Right.
The pain bothered him.
And he pulled it. When he pulls up here, Cash 89 is the intended receiver. See when he accelerates off his left foot? Let's see where it happens.
Yeah, just as he delivers the ball, it would appear he didn't seem to favor it before that time.
He stays in.
2:12 remaining. No timeouts left for Kansas City. There's that wraparound draw to Marcus Allen, and Allen is to the 5, Allen to the 1. Marcus Allen playing in his hometown of San Diego, where he was a high school All-Stater.
Dick, they call this the slow draw. Watch the effect it has on Seau. Once the quarterback goes by the running back, the rules of the linebacker change. They can drop. When he puts the ball forward, the linebackers are out of position to make the tackle.
2 minutes to go, 1 yard from the lead. Neil Smith, part of the story today. 2 blocked field goals. It could be San Diego leading 20-10. Instead, it's 1st and goal. Kansas City at the 1. Down by 4. Marcus Allen. Touchdowns. His second of the day. 103rd in his great career. And Kansas City leads again.
A great lead block in front of Marcus Allen on that play, Dick. A huge lead block.
Speaking of huge, how about that 4th and 10 throw by Joe Montana running against his body. Lowry hits the extra point. 17-14 Kansas City, and now it's San Diego with 1:57 to go.
I think it's Ernie Thompson, 45, who makes the block. It is. He just folds Gary Plummer, 50. And Marcus Allen is right on his hip. And Neil Smith on the sideline.
Sees the culmination of an 80-yard drive in 1 minute, 31 seconds. It took Montana 9 plays to get the job done. And this was the wraparound draw.
Now this is a slow draw. What happens here? This guy drops, and this guy has to wait to see what Montana's going to do. And it takes about that much time for the offensive lineman to get to it, to get to the linebacker. You see, it's called a slow draw. And then Allen still has that acceleration to the outside. Excellent job of blocking downfield. What a great call.
Who first came up with this?
Back in the 50s, it's my understanding the Cleveland Browns did this with Marion Motley. And it holds linebackers for a split second, It allows an offensive lineman to get on a linebacker and others drop, and now there's fewer guys there to make the tackle.
They're part of the Paul Brown
Yes,
genius legacy in the National Football League. Marcus Allen, who told us yesterday with the Raiders, he said, at least I knew I was a short down back, goal line back, and then they take me out when we got down to the goal line, even in my last game as a Raider. And denied him perhaps many chances to move up on that all-time touchdown list.
As a matter of fact, we were laughing that Albert Lewis, who is a good friend of Marcus Allen, said Marcus Allen last year was the thinker, Rodan's thinker, on the sideline.
Sidelines, his chin in his hand. Allen with 45 yards rushing, 3 catches for 30 more, a couple of touchdowns, and now Lowry to San Diego, and it's back on the Charger turn. Down by 3 with almost 2 minutes to go. Lewis, catapults out to the 20-yard line.
Fred Jones and Benny Thompson down there, 80 and 46.
The Chargers had to use a couple of timeouts earlier and have but 1 remaining, 1:53 to go.
Well, I think this is what Kansas City hired Joe Montana for, isn't it? Just the presence that he has in the huddle. Everyone was relaxed, did their jobs. They didn't panic because of the lack of time, got the job done.
Joe, in the meantime, is an actor on the sidelines. He's pretending that hamstring doesn't hurt. He barely could walk off after that touchdown handoff to Allen. Now Freeze against the prevent defense down the middle. Anthony Miller. That's 20 on first down, and the Chargers hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Too much time for Freeze, says Marty Schottenheimer. Now they're going to down it there and take their time. 1:34 to go. And Carney, and a man who was automatic 29 straight, an NFL record, was 12 for 12 in just 2 games here at home. But today, Neil Smith has rejected both of his field goal tries. One from 30 yards, the other from 46, both in the second half.
Been too much push up the middle on those field goal attempts.
Freeze along the sidelines and unable to connect with Sean Jefferson, and Dale Carter running shoulder to shoulder, and Jefferson thought a little too much contact.
Maybe arm to arm. That's a kind of an interesting call there. You want to move the chains, but they went for the distance. I think you'd want to keep the drive going.
Well, Bobby Ross told us he wants to simplify but yet be more aggressive.
Yeah, but I don't like that choice. Third or second down and 10, trailing by 3.
Third and 10. Oh, dropped by Lewis. Nate Lewis had it right there. Kevin Ross covering. That would have been a first down. It was about 11-yard throw, and now 4th and 10 for San Diego.
Vic, this seemed to eat him up. When he turns around, well, when you let the body try to make the catch, you're always in trouble. You need your hands out there. And maybe Lewis, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. When you can't see the ball released from the quarterback's hand, it's a tough catch.
Now a desperation down for Freeze. He needs 10 to keep it alive. Montana did it. So does he. To Miller. First down at the 47 of Kansas City. And Freeze will spend the Chargers' last time out. No, it's still going. And finally, they sign it off at the 1:12 mark. About 4 seconds went by before the officials saw Freeze's signal.
Dick, this is the same pattern they just ran to the other side. It's a little flood where you've got 2 or 3 guys running the same pattern, only this time Anthony Miller is the primary receiver, and he does make the catch. Whitmore on the tackle.
Been a terrific game.
Oh, it has. And when Marty told us last night this will be a close game, I was a little bit skeptical. You know, San Diego's had their problems. Kansas City comes in here in a pretty good role. You know, Joe Montana's healthy. I give Marty credit. He had this one called right down almost to the score.
In their long rivalry that goes back to the good old AFL days, 33 wins for Kansas City, 32 wins for San Diego. 1 tie, back to the Hank Stram against Sid Gilman days.
Well, that's when those lightning bolts were light blue instead of dark blue, right?
Right. 5-1 should Kansas City win. That would match their best ever start by that great 71 team. And Lenny Dawson, the quarterback, and Ed Podolak was their leading rusher. And they had guys like Lanier and Bell backing up the line. So that covers a lot of time.
Curly Culp, Buck Buchanan.
San Diego. First down, no timeouts now, 1:14 to go. They need to get down to about the 30 to give Kearney a legitimate chance. Oh, that looked to be an early hit by Martin Bayless. No flag. Looked like he had the wraparound on Harmon.
It was close. Ronnie Harmon is looking at the official. Come on, help. Top right portion of the picture.
Was the right hand behind that you couldn't see from that angle?
No. It was close. Timing is everything when it comes to coverage. Hands on those receivers. The fans here and Jack Murphy just saw it. They obviously thought it was a penalty.
Here comes Ross. But Freeze gets it away and throws it away. Whoa, that was a big play by Freeze. He saved himself about 10 yards. But Kevin Ross on a corner blitz.
I'm surprised that was not in the grasp. I mean, I know it should be grasp and control, but why is this? Here's Ross
because
right here.
He was not endangered by a second tackler. There must be a second man in the range to make the hit. He's all alone. And so,
no control. You're right. So they allow him, these big, strong quarterbacks, now to throw it away. Good call, Dick Enberg.
The drama continues. Freeze has had a solid game. Third and 10. Protected well. And over the head of Ronnie Harmon. So another 4th and 10. Montana made one on the drive for the touchdown for Kansas City to take the lead at 17-14. Freeze has converted once on 4th and 10. And now another challenge.
Well, they need another pattern here. They have basically run the same play the last 3 downs.
If they tried a field goal from this spot, it would be 64 yards. Obviously, they won't. 1 minute to go. But more importantly, 10 yards to go. And Freeze to Miller. But it goes to Albert Lewis out of bounds. Wouldn't have been a catch even had Miller come down with it.
What's that?
Kansas City apparently has come off with another close win in San Diego.
Wait a minute, Dick, what is that? Come on, we're running the fly pattern here, 4th and 10. I mean, if you... Whoa. I don't know why you don't try for something across the middle.
Well, you have Miller isolated deep. If he just does a curl back, you get your first down.
Strange call, 4th and 10. You're looking for something. Yeah, you can have single coverage, high percentage, run across, get the team up there. You're still going to have 40 seconds left. That was a strange choice.
Joe Montana's got this play down pat. Kneel down, and he'll have one more kneel down, and Kansas City will go back to Missouri with a 5-1 record and the lead in the AFC West. And Bobby Ross's Chargers will drop to 2-4. Their 9-game home winning streak snapped. And Neil Smith, yeah, he saved your heart, Marty. Neil Smith with 2 blocked field goals, key to victory today as he pressed up the middle. And as Montana kneels down with just seconds to go, we can show you the Hager wrinkle-free cotton super play of the game. It was Montana on 4th and 10, part of his 27th comeback drive to victory. 4th and 10, has to run away from the throwing arm against his body and thread this one through the defense. He needed 10. He got 11 to Willie Davis, kept it alive, and Kansas City developing as one of the elite teams in the National Football League. And as Marty said, if we can only keep 37-year-old Joe Montana in good health. A near record crowd in San Diego. Kansas City takes home the win. We'll return.
The great masters defined civilization in Europe. Now we're defining it on the way there. United to Europe. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.